Hello, and welcome to you. I am Shoshana Spottedcorn, and I am a spiritual consultant and energy reader. I do not work with tarot. I only work with medicine, indigenous cards from my culture. And let's go ahead and jump in. So let's talk about the years. This is a Chinese astrology reading for the people who are the year of the tiger. Let's talk about the list. We have 1938, 1950, 1962, 1974, 1986, 1998, 2010, 2022. And for the future tiger, 2034 is going to be the next year of the tiger. So, I am going to be talking about what to expect this year. Tiger, your energy takes my breath away. It really does. I don't even know where to begin because you guys are so rambunctious. It's just an energy that I'm not really used to working with. And you're always up to no good, is how I feel. You're just always up to no good. And this year is going to be very interesting how this year is going to work for you. I really feel like this year is going to humble you down and teach you how to be humble to the point where sorry, there was a noise that interrupted my thought process. I was seeing you as learning to be humble in a way that you've never been humble before, like an upgrade in the area of humbleness that is so strong that it's going to follow you to your next life. That's how I feel. It's a very interesting energy for you this year because it's not something that you're familiar with. You're not familiar with using this energy. It's just something that has kind of been obliged to you. You feel like you have to be this manner, like maybe something happened traumatic or a loss that made you realize this preciousness of life, and you felt like there was something or multiple things that you were taking for granted or advantage of. Sorry, I'm trying to get some space here to put the cards. Something happened that was really deep, that just really made you feel like you need to get your act together. But your overall entrance is just kind of threw me off for a bit. Like, wow. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like I can't think of the word. You're just going to have to give me some time to think of the word, because you know how there's like so many feelings, so many sensations that we feel that have no word. Like there's even colors that have no name that we experience. And your presence has this feeling that is unlike the other signs. Like, for example, there's like the presence of the lion, like, you know, the lion and the hare, you know, and that has a presence, but the tiger has a different presence, and the jaguar has another presence. And there's a name that I'm going to eventually have to come up with by the end of this video to describe the feeling. So anywho, let's go ahead and jump right in. The first card that we're going to work with is going to be the physical work. The physical work that you need to work on. And you're going to be having a hard time this year focusing. Focusing is going to kind of be your weak point. You are quite the daydreamer this year. Or the year that is coming, because it's not the new year for certain cultures. For other cultures besides the Western, New Year's doesn't start till March. And for a lot of Asian cultures, New Year's does not start until February. And we have our first card. Uh-oh. This is the ghost card as the physical work for the tiger. With this card, I feel that there is something about you that you hide. What is the aspect that you hide from yourself? What is the aspect that you perhaps don't want the world to see? What is the aspect that you think is not up to par? And why have you been covering it? Why have you been hiding it from yourself? Why do you feel so undeserving to step up and put and place yourself in that position where you truly want to be? Very, very interesting. And of course, this is going to vary depending on your ghost aspect. This is not talking about a physical ghost. This is talking about the ghost aspects within yourself. If you have no idea what that is, go through old photographs. Go through your storage bins and go through all the old photographs and you will remember what I'm talking about. Let's go over to the inner work. The inner work. Let's put this down so you can see the cards. The inner work for our tiger people. Calling upon the beautiful energy of nature in its most organic form. Another beautiful day. And we have the inner work. Goddess of water. If you have a problem, putting the problem in your face is not going to make the problem go away. You have an issue and you just keep staring at the issue. If it's a relationship, You keep staring at the relationship. If it's someone who ghosted you, you keep staring at the person who ghosted you. If it's a bill you can't pay, you keep staring at the bill. It's very important to step away from the problem. Remove yourself from the problem. Take a trip. Go on a boat ride. Go ride the canoe. Go to the river. Go fishing. Because that moves the energy. It moves the energy to do something else when you're in a pickle. So then when you come home, like let's say you go for the weekend or you go for 3 days, you just go off camping, and use that time to regenerate yourself. You come back and there's the mail that you've been waiting for. Have you noticed that when you stare at the problem doesn't go away, but then when you walk away and you forget about the problem, you get distracted in a healthy manner, you go to work, you do all these long shifts, you're tired, you have to do grocery shopping, and then all of a sudden, an issue that needed to be solved resolved itself with time. And it's very important this year that when you have an issue, you step away and just distance yourself. For males, that is very easy. For males, you already do that. Especially in your marriage. But let me tell you that if you are married and you leave a marital issue, a spouse issue, if you leave a relationship issue every time it gets hot, that will put you in danger to ultimately lose your person. Because when tiger people leave, when they threaten to move out, when they threaten to divorce, when they threaten to separate, it really hurts the person, as if you're really going to do it. And a lot of times tiger people think it's a game. You think it's funny to just leave for a week and then do it again and do it again. And then what's the point of being in a relationship? If you can't find a common ground in your relationship as a tiger, to the point where you're up and leaving and you're fighting all the time, then it's better to just end things now. Because you might end up with a child with someone that you're not even going to end up with. And when it comes to a relationship, you can't just up and leave the problem. Unless you want to just end the relationship, do not burden that person. What is the spiritual advice for the tiger peoples? To move on and go with, move on. That's the advice. For a lot of you that are in a relationship, sorry, I have to shake this table like this. Need to readjust myself. If you are fighting all the time, it's best that you go your own separate ways. What people have to understand is the consequences of getting in toxic relationships. Toxic relationships will destroy your life and make you, block you of what your primary purpose is. And it's just crazy how people will settle for certain relationships where the person that they're with controls their every move. You, out of all people, need to be in a relationship where the person allows you all the freedom because they expect the same in return. A very, very mature relationship where both of you can reach an agreement and give each other so much space, because people who are tigers require so much space. So you can't hurt people by getting into a relationship with people who are clingy per se. It really, really hurts them when you do that. So I suggest a relationship with someone who understands your need for freedom, or no relationship at all, because being in a relationship with someone who does not understand your need for freedom is just ultimately going to hurt them, or they will just leave on their own. So this card here of leaving the problem, I'm talking about everything except for if you're in a relationship. And if you are in a relationship and you can't stop fighting, then just part and go your own ways. Does that make sense? Tigers, you have such a hard time focusing this year. It's so crazy. You're going to be in the clouds. You're going to be in the clouds this year. That's not such a bad thing. For others of you, I feel that you're going to be like in love, or kind of like daydreaming and in love a little bit, but maybe not of a particular person. Like, you know how sometimes you could kind of be in love without having someone to be in love with? Okay, so this year, my dear Tigers, it's very important for you to network, and be a social butterfly. Be a social butterfly, network, talk to people. It's so important for you to meet people this year. I feel kind of bad for any cross watchers, because I can't help to say how I feel. I read the loudest energy and the brightest colors, and I have to say them. I just feel like Tigers should be single this year as much as possible. Like the majority of Tigers, I feel like you should be single and stay single this year. Save yourself for this year. Not because I think, oh, someone might come along that's going to be perfect. Not because of that, but because of multiple friends, multiple souls that you need to be friends with. You know how there's people that we feel are like a soulmate, like we feel like they're a romantic soulmate. Well, we also have friend soulmates where we feel like we're supposed to be friends with them. And there's a group of people that you're going to feel like you're meant to be friends with. It's 3 or 4 people that you're going to meet this year that you're going to be so grateful that you met them. And of course, if you're in a relationship, this is not going to happen. You're going to be caged up in a cage, like a wild tiger in a cage. For those of you who are married, I'm sorry. I just see a lot of issues. I can't help it. It's going to be very important for you to communicate, Tiger. Stop keeping things in. Stop keeping information. We are all adults here, and it's not necessary to lie to another adult. Not only is that really a low punch, but tigers can betray or lie or withhold information from people who have shown them loyalty for a very long time, and that is one of your negative traits. You could be married to somebody for years, or besties with somebody for years, or sister, brother for somebody for years, and yet you will withhold information that should not be withheld. You do not want to accumulate negative karma this year. So make sure that you are not withholding any information, such as you not being happy in a relationship, you not being happy in a marriage, you wanting to separate, but being scared of their reaction. We're going to do 2 or 3 more cards, and then we're going to go ahead and end your yearly reading. What other advice for our tigers for this coming year? And we have contract. Speaking of, we were just discussing this. You see this over here? This is the card of contracts. Be very careful. Be very careful of contracts. Let me tell you something, okay? I have to tell you. You know, when you feel the urge to tell someone a personal story because you feel like it has to do with something, that's how I feel, okay? This is not a story. This is actually just a little thing I want to tell you. If you were to apply for a passport, it's just a reminder. I guess it's not a story. It's more of a reminder from something that, you know, something that happened to me that I'm like, this you need to hear this reminder. If you are applying for application for a passport, let's say you've never had a passport before. Or you have had a passport before and you just don't remember this question. Remember that it asks you if you have ever been married. And you're going to have to answer that question. And guess what? That question comes with 3 more questions. One mistake can ruin your life, ruin your destiny, ruin your primary purpose of why you reincarnated into this lifetime to begin with. Just that one little mistake can just, everything comes crumbling down. You marry the wrong person, you get divorced, they take half your money. You know, you really have to be careful when it comes to contracts this year. So back to the passport. You have to answer that question about whether or not you were married. That question comes with 3 more questions. What are those questions? What is the date of birth of the person you married? What is the second question? What is the date that you got married on? What is the third question? What is the date of the divorce date? Who in the heck saves this kind of information? You know, when you make a really bad mistake and you get drunk and you get married in Vegas and then you guys get in a fight and they're burning all your papers, burning your belongings, scratching your car, who saves that kind of information? So now you can't get a passport because you can't remember those 3 dates. Their date of birth, when you got married, and when you got divorced. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, because if you were married multiple times, those are 6 dates you have to remember. And the older you get, you just don't have as much memory as you used to. And you delete things from your mind. You delete things from existence, but that does not mean that it is deleted from public records. It's going to be on public records. You look for someone's name and it tells you all of their marriages, all of their divorces. Be careful of blackmail this year, Tigers. You're going to be wanting to be quite eccentric this year. Let's do 2 more and go ahead and end this. Any last advice for our Tigers this year? Oh, let's talk about your elements. 1938, earth element. 1950, metal element. 1962, water element. 1974, wood element. 1986, fire element. 1998, earth element. 2010, metal element. 2022, water element. The next time that it's going to be the year of the tiger is going to be in 2034, and that will be a wood element. Be mindful of the thoughts you are ingesting. Food, thoughts, music, movies, violence, series, addictions is what you need to keep in mind, because all the things that you look at, taste, hear, smell, feel will manifest. Your manifesting skills are impeccable this year. And I was never able to come up with a word to describe your presence. It is like magical. It's like this magical presence that you have. So don't taint it by surrounding yourself with people who are unmoral or low vibes. Thank you so much for watching, Tigers. Till next time. Bye.